As someone once said, well, this is all a splendid mess. As we all try to stay safe and up to date with the coronavirus pandemic, we must also find a newfound appreciation for what we have. Movies can be considered escapist indulgences, but I believe more importantly, they are now needed more than ever to help us connect. Whether that is with the characters on screen or with the safe remote viewing with friends. To quote Kubrick, however vast the darkness, we must supply our own light. And so Sumet and I will do our best by commentating on one of the best and funniest films of recent years, Greta Gerwig's solo directing debut, Lady Bird. A charming, honest, funny, and above all poignant mother-daughter dramedy about the relationships needed right now. Enjoy, stay safe, and best of luck and in health to us all.
So far, until the title, you see only two people, the daughter
Mm-hmm.
and the mother. And you know they are the daughter and the mother. Like, and the opening shot of them sleeping together, fantastic. And from there on, the exposition, like knowing their background and how they're feeling and their family is, happens so well in that car dialogue. Like you know that she's young and antsy because she wants to play like a new music right after like this long series of cassettes. And then they reveal in the conversation what time of the year it is, like what time of the society it is. 2000. The only thing I like about 2002 is that it's a palindrome. That's the
It's
most
good. It's the only
brilliant
thing.
way a date has been announced in a movie to me. And then you see her personality and the mother's personality through that bickering, and you know they have a brother who's like uh, just making like minimum wage job at a grocery store packing bags. Like all of that was brilliant, and the shock and the, like, I was not ready for her to throw herself out of the car.
Just like the mother was not ready for her to throw herself out of the car. So yeah,
The,
the dialogue is so natural
the
and
dialogue is so
just
natural.
flows. It's so natural. It feels like these two just improvised the whole thing. But of course, it's just good writing, and of course, good performing on the actor's part. Yeah, it's such a
Yeah,
great open. It sets up the characters. It sets up the conflict.
yeah.
It gives a little twist right in the beginning. Um, yeah, I mean, when I first saw this, I was just already hooked, like what was going to follow.
Yeah.
So, and
And between the mother and the daughter,
mhm.
I am 90% like the daughter, like I'm restless. The only 10% that I'm like the mother is let's sit with it for a while. I like to, like when I watch a movie or read a book, I don't want to watch the next movie or read the next book right away. I want to sit with it for a day or two or three and soak in and like let my head feel all the emotions and like let my heart feel it. So I like doing that. Oh, by the way, brilliant work of camera there. So the first house they walk past, you see the camera moving and them moving. The second, both moving. Third and the last one, the camera is still. And then they move, and that's the house, the blue house that they come stand right in front and talk.
Because that's the house uh, the
Want us
filmmakers
to?
want you to concentrate on. Want you to
Yeah,
concentrate on. Yes.
yeah,
Even though they're still showing you the community that at least they walk through, and later
yeah,
on we get where Lady Bird actually lives, and that's a big deal
yeah,
because then that's the other side of the tracks, so to speak.
yeah.
So, uh,
And another sweet part, like, oh, I will have my own bathroom. Like getting to know things like that is all so sweet to me. I don't know why. And those fancy imagination, like when you and I or anybody imagines something, you would like imagine like bigger things in life, you know? Oh, if I had, I wish I had a Tesla car or something. But the innocence of imagining like, oh, I'd call my friends and shout to my mom saying, okay, mom, we are going to the upstairs TV room. Like, you know, those sweet dreams and very small, innocent dreams. And then when Ladybird and Julie are having conversation in the mall, I mean, she's talking about like going to New York, and she asks like just matter of factly, but aren't you worried about terrorism? Like as if New
mhm.
York is full of it. But like that's the kind of conversation, that's the thing you talk about New York when you're talking about New York in a small
In
village.
2002, in
And in
2002
2002,
also.
in 2002 also. Oh, actually, good point. And then she's like, I don't know what she says. And there was earlier a poster in the school also about never forget 9/11.
Mm.
So like attention to detail. And as young girls, you're looking at magazines and be like, why I'm never like that. And they reveal who the brother and sister are in every expositionary part of the film is so well done in like genuine conversations, in very real conversations, that your brother and sister look like the same and they're like, hey, when I'm the, and everywhere it's like re-informed how poor they are. Like you're reading magazines for free at the store. You're just lingering there reading magazines for free. Another thing that you would do when you don't have money to buy them. And throughout throughout the this entire play, I was smiling
Mm.
because the film was making me smile. Question to you: have you been to a Catholic school ever?
Technically, no, but I have been on the South Shore of Boston for 20 years now, and that's almost a Catholic school system, but doesn't it's not quite there. But I've known a lot of friends that went through the Catholic school system, and yeah, typically that's something you would associate with the East Coast, but here it's much more somewhere in the Sacramento suburbs, they say. So it's a little different feel because you normally think of California. It's very free and easy, very easygoing, and you wouldn't associate that with very just, suited down and very
Oh.
very proper, um, very
And
mannered.
every scene was a genius. Sharing the bathroom, and
Mm,
that's the only quiet space the couple gets,
mm,
the husband and wife of the house,
mm,
to like have a word with each other because it's such a small space. So he's brushing his teeth and she's sitting on the pot and they're just talking. That was beautiful.
mm,
Uh, and yeah, and like the daughter saying, "Oh, don't say it to mother," but he's like, "Yeah, but mother will be angry." And when he says, "I love you," and she doesn't say, "I love you" back right away,
mm,
I
mhm,
noticed that too.
mm,
Like, like the father of the house is taken for granted,
mm,
but also not in a fully taken for granted sort of a way. He's like,
mm,
"Yeah, yeah, I don't have to say I love you back right away. I have to
mm,
get my business done, but
mm.
will you sign the letters?" And then you get a "I love you" hug back. It was brilliant, man. It's like,
Brilliant. No, it's just a perfectly composed family unit. Everyone seems like they've
uh,
known each other, since their entire lives. They get into fights every so often, but they obviously do love each other. They cohabitate well. Um, just something a lot of people are going to be learning about more in the next coming weeks. But
uh,
yeah, it's just the entire ensemble from top to bottom. This is just like everyone is just on point.
yeah.
There's not a bad note in the entire cast.
And Lady Bird's father. What did you think of Lady Bird's father?
Oh yeah, it's Tracy Letts. I mean, he longtime playwright, and this is his first big role. I think something like that. He had something else the same year, but I'm forgetting. Um, but yeah, he's able to just exude this warmth and just you can just tell that their relationship is just completely different than from her mother's.
Yeah,
Um, it's just a lot of there's just a lot of understanding. There's just a lot of warmth.
yeah.
Uh, you can say he's a little yeah he's a little bit I don't know how would you call what would you say it how would you put it
Calm and like,
yeah, it's just yeah, calm. Calm is an excellent way. Thank you. Yeah, just calm about his parenting style. He's not really. I don't want to say hands off, but obviously much less obtrusive than the mother. I think that's the way that it
yeah.
seems to be.
I was able to viscerally enjoy the beauty and contradictions of the Catholic school. Like
Hmm.
there's a scene where a sister, a nun, the headmaster, is teaching about some literature subject, and everybody's sitting down in a circle, all the girls, and she's like, "Wait until you hear his love story, you will swoon." And like with her, I associate complete abstinence and like just being in love with Jesus Christ, and which has been my experience in my schooling, where sisters were complete full personality. Like they would joke around, they would prank,
Mm-hmm.
and but when you see them, you associate just like a very sober
Mm-hmm.
human being who doesn't do anything like that, But that's not what it is. And then the contrast of it, like eating the church wafers, the church bread chips that are offered as prayer
The,
offerings,
yeah, the communion wafers, yeah.
communion wafers. So you're basically stealing them,
And then
and
talking about sex,
and
really
then talking
freely
about sex, and not just sex, talking about masturbation and sharing
masturbate.
like masturbation stories with each other. And these are things you forget in life. Like I'm like 34 and I'd forgotten how I was when I was in my 18, 19, 20, 21. Like I have memories of college days when me and my friends would sit, smoke a joint and like talk all sorts of stupid things.
Mhm.
At some point we talked about masturbation also, and I was like, there are at some point, like many points maybe, stupid things, man. And there's an age and time for it, and you forget. And a movie like this, like, is such a slice of life. Oh, I want you to tell me a little bit more about the coach, the priest who cried.
Mhm. Yeah, Stephen Henderson. He's very well acclaimed stage actor who takes these very little character roles and just makes just gold out of them.
He literally
That's
made gold out of this entire movie, but that one scene where he
mm,
cries,
mm,
that was real, man.
mm,
Uh, Both in the film and I think
mm,
in reality. Like in
mm,
the film, the student, that guest appearance student later says the reason. Like
mm,
he had a young son who like
mm.
overdosed or maybe suicide or
Overdosed or
could be both.
suicide. Right. Mm,
And that information is revealed to you later. So you see
mm,
him crying first as an audience.
mm,
And that crying was so deep, but it was also like he was the only old guy sitting in a circle of all
mhm,
teenagers.
mhm,
So when he cried,
mm,
I, as an audience, I was both laughing and
mm,
ashamed of my laughing.
mhm,
It was like the dark
mm,
comedy moment where,
mm,
because he was genuinely crying with
mm,
some deep seated pain,
mm.
but nobody else was crying.
Mm.
The theater stage
Right.
setup was like, okay, as actors, let's practice let's see who can cry first.
Mm,
And everybody was like just making like a
mm,
fake sad face trying to cry because they're like young teenage people. They don't know how to act, they don't know how to really cry. And he cried. So I was laughing at that stupidity of that scene of like this
mm.
one old person crying. And yet I was like, oh man, that crying is so real. So why am I
Mm,
laughing?
mm,
From Lady Bird's perspective, if you have had your first kiss
mm.
and your dance where you were dancing close, which was by the way great joke of like stay 6 feet apart for the Holy Spirit,
Oh,
that
yeah.
made me laugh
Make
out
room
loud.
for Jesus. Yeah. Make room
Yeah,
for
make
Jesus.
room for
Yes.
Jesus
Hmm.
is another version of it. So that made me laugh. And like, if you have had the best night of your life as a teenager,
Mm,
like your
hmm.
first kiss,
Hmm.
so good that you literally had to stop in the middle of the road and shout like, yeah, to let out all the joy.
Hmm. Because that's what it feels like. That's what it
That
feels
was,
like your first kiss. That's what it
yeah,
feels like. You just want to go
yeah.
out in the middle of the street and just express yourself in that, right? Yeah.
But
It's just.
reality does not stop
Mm,
for you there. Like that same day, and your parents don't know this. Your mother,
mm.
she's your
Yeah.
greatest
Mm,
partner in life.
mm,
As a young teenage girl, your mother is like, she
mm,
gets you. She gets you a lot, but she also is aware of the reality. So she knows now the family has no job. They are sitting on a table, middle of the night, working on some bills.
mm,
And you, as a third person, as the audience, you can see. Like I was
mm,
praying that, oh, please don't fight with her today.
mm,
let her
mm,
enjoy her first night,
mm, mm.
after her first
First
kiss.
kid. Yeah. First kiss, right?
Let her sleep with all the dreams and joy and like
Mm,
stay awake in bed and think of Danny. I wanted that. And
mm,
as audience, I was like, please, 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 please don't fight now.
mm.
What?
Mm,
At first, I was gonna hate the mother. That,
mm.
oh no, 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 is she fighting just because her room is messy and she, come on,
No,
not to
no,
fight.
no, no,
But then the
that's
father
not
had also
right,
lost the
right.
job. So I was like, oh fuck yeah. And
Mm,
then to add in that bit that This is a small town. Some of your friends' fathers could give your father a job, but not if you look trashy.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I immediately sympathize with the mother too. Like her timing wasn't wrong either. She had to confront her that night.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the cause of all conflict. Like everybody with goodness in their heart for the other person, but aware of different realities, aware of different problems,
Mm-hmm.
and then the moods not matching, like the
Mm-hmm.
joy not aligning with the
Mm-hmm.
bad stuff. So that was brilliant. Even though Ladybird herself is like always mad with her mother in her mother's presence, when the guy says something, when they're lying down in the park talking about stars, and when the guy says something about the mother, your mother is too hard on you. Whoa, she doesn't take that. She replies immediately with a stern face. She's like, yeah, but that's because she loves me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's because in her heart she loves me a lot. Which is, I think, was another beautiful thing. All parents should know this. That, like, I think it's true for your parents, my parents, everybody. That with our parents, we might be like very rough, very edgy. We might not always express our love. But what they don't know is when they're not around, when we are talking about them,
Mm-hmm.
we are so grateful. We know what they mean to us, what they've done for us, and we talk about them with love. And we don't, no third person could speak shit about my parents. Like, I'll kill them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't ever tell them how much I love them or how awesome they are. Whenever we talk, I'm always like poking or picking something that is wrong, which I think is true for like almost all families, and boys or girls, girls maybe more, I don't know. So beautiful, beautiful film, lovely scenes. Why do you think, even though parents are so helpful to their kids, like literally they live for their kids and work hard and make everything happen,
Absolutely.
why do the kids and parents still end up in an equation with so much conflict? And the film answered it, but I want to see if you got it.
Well, I think it's different for every single. It's different in every single family situation. It's different, there there's differences in there's generational expectations that was kind of shown right there. Um, there's there's differences in how you're supposed to, how you're supposed to be at a certain age, how you're supposed to present yourself, how you're supposed to present to your family. And there's all these expectations that we put on children. We put them on, other family members and all that, and those always are going to be in conflict. You can just see she's hopeful that her daughter's finally sort of acclimating to high school life, or even if it is her senior year or so, then she'll be going off to college soon. But it's nice that she's somewhat acclimating to college life. And then all of a sudden, he just pulls out this wrong side of the track comment, and you could just tell, like, Laurie Metcalf is just like. She's just great. I mean, I can only say so many great. I could always say all these actors are great because they are. That's just the fact of the matter. But just that little like
Pinch,
loss of
yeah.
just
Loss of.
pinch, not overdoing it, but and she immediately recovers.
Nobody else in the family was able to receive the date as well.
Mm-hmm.
The mother
Mm-hmm.
was genuinely the most happiest.
Genuinely most happiest,
The
right?
brother and the
Right, right,
sister-in-law
right,
were
right,
like
right.
complete
We're not
absentees.
even there. Weren't even
Yeah.
there, right? Right, right,
and
right.
and the father was like not able to engage the date except for the standard stereotypical father joke, like, oh, if you are my if you're my daughter's date, I'll be acting like a tough guy but in a fake way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's like father's thing to do, like, oh, better be nice with my girl, or I have a gun, like they'll say jokes like that. But the mother was genuinely happy. She was like, oh, look at you coming to pick her up, so adorable. And she's the one who held the conversation, sat him down,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see that she was genuinely happy. As in a character, she
Oh
performed it
yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
But the daughter does not get to see that.
Mm.
What does the daughter get to see? That the moment she came
The more
to,
she comes, she's yeah.
she's so well dressed and she's so happy that my date is here to pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing she hears from the mother is like, oh, what's in the duffel bag? What is the duffel bag for?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, in the presence of a third person, especially when you're a teenager, you don't ask stupid questions.
Right.
Like, you don't kill the vibe that way. And so
Mm-hmm.
she's like, all these moments build up the pent up anger between relatives who are good to each other. So now this guy, Timothy Chalamet, Kyle, what I loved about this movie, another thing, like it shows you the complexity of human heart so quickly. When Lady Bird was deeply in crush, almost love, young love with the other guy, with Danny, Lucas Hedges. So she, right now, she does not know that Danny is gay. And she's at the height of her confidence, like everything is going great for her. She's in a play and she got her kiss, she got a boyfriend, everything is going good. When everything is going good, you start lusting on other people
Mm-hmm.
because you are at the height of your confidence. You think like you can get everything,
Mm-hmm.
and now you want more,
You want something different, or you want something different.
or you
Yeah.
want something different because you like there's no like the heart doesn't listen to no one,
Right.
especially at that age. So I thought that was very brilliantly shown that at first, while she did not know about Danny being gay, she was like pulled towards Kyle.
Mm.
But when later she approaches Kyle, by the time Danny has already broken her heart.
We're introduced to sort of the popular girl.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and by no coincidence, she's also the rich girl in the.
yeah,
She has as we're gonna as we're gonna be shown later. Um, so right now, Ladybird is like she's just a little confused, right? She's just been in a relationship with someone who turns out to have been not sexually attracted to her.
yeah,
Um, and now she tried her hand with Kyle before, but it didn't seem like they hit things off very well. He's on a sort of a different wavelength at that time,
yeah.
so now she's trying a different kind of relationship. I wouldn't say romantic or anything, not anything like that, but just now she's trying to get in with the popular crowd. And
Yeah.
it is tropey. It's the now she's going to try to get in with the popular crowd in order by scorning her old friends, who aren't as popular. Um, but it's done. It's again, this is just a very naturalistic movie, or at least it feels naturalistic. It feels much more grounded. The characters are understandable in their decisions rather than just, well, this is a plot point that we need to have in order to get to this plot point. So this is kind of tropey. The our lead characters trying to fit in with the in crowd or what have you, but more or less done to a believable degree.
Like yeah, tropey, but like so well done. They're talking about you see a young girl talking about sex, the popular girl talking about sex, which was the
She
tropey part, but
obviously
also true.
has she obviously has
Yeah,
no idea what she's talking about. So yeah,
yeah,
it's also an excellent. Yeah.
and then like breaking off from with your old friends and like now getting cozying up to like new popular girl, and so well done. Like Lady Bird uh, is the type of girl who would say about a teacher who's a nun that oh she's a cunt.
Mm.
She says that anyway, but she now uses her own skills at like getting in the in group of these popular girls and the oh I don't want to eat your sandwich because I'm getting fat, and she says
Mm.
that to her friend who's fat.
Mm.
So
Mm.
as an audience, you feel like you and I will you will never call me like you're balding uh, uh, because like it's
Oh, you
offensive.
have a fuzzball. You have a fuzzball on top of your head.
So I only for a little bit, but with like real friends, you can be comfortable and you just say
Yeah.
things. So so as audience, you get like a oh no, how could you say in front of a friend who's fat that you don't want to get fat? Oh, that's not
Bad.
That's not kosher. So
It's not nice. It's not nice. You're right.
yeah.
It's not.
So
Yeah, but
I love that
it's
you show such things, like you show real things and non-kosher, have your characters do those things. I think in retrospect, I would like to nominate this film for Best Screenplay
Mhm.
Oscar. Oscar for Best Screenplay.
It was nominated, I believe. I want to say so. I want to think it was nominated at
Yeah.
least. I
Then
don't
who
think
beat it? Like this film,
won it. I'm fairly certain. No, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, she got a nom.
the amount
Yeah,
of
this is
this,
great stuff. Mhm.
yeah, like acting is great, screenplay
Yep,
is great.
best original screenplay nom. Yeah,
Oh wow.
yep, was nominated 5 times, but didn't quite get it there. I'm trying to remember. 2017 would have been something else.
If I was on the award committee, I would give it the award.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I could. Yeah, I would.
Do award committee people watch a movie multiple times or just once?
Some of them don't watch all of them. Actually,
Oh no. Like
some of
it,
them I just go by. Some of them just go by popularity, and some
that's sad, man.
I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure, man. But it seems like some of them don't watch all the noms. It's just
I
sort of.
think I think it should be a rule that you watch a movie
Oh
six
yeah,
times. No,
yeah.
not 6 times, 3 times.
At least 3 times.
At
At
least
least
three
three.
times.
Yeah.
As judges who
Yeah.
give a movie award, you should watch a movie 3 times.
Hmm.
Because then you know the true brilliance of a movie, what sets one movie apart from the other.
Yeah. Then they're gonna
Anyway,
say with you, we don't have time to get to all the nominees. We don't have time to watch them 3 times. So
uh,
that it's just the hassle of award season, and awards don't really matter, man. It's just you know. It's these movies that you get to come back to and you just see so much more. There's just so much more to mine. There's so much more to glean from that really stand the test of time.
what is something that was shown in these series of sequences that we saw that is true about the current millennial generation as it was about all the previous generations, the boomers, the hippies, and whoever. But the older generation, they don't get. They blame the millennial generation, or they see the millennial generation, I think, through only one prism.
Mm.
But
And it works the other way too. Millennials see boomers through
one,
one single lens as well, one singular lens as
yeah,
well. Um,
right,
and that
like
yeah, that just creates a generational divide that's it's never been solved. It just keeps on
yeah,
going and going and
yeah.
going and going. Um,
And I feel like society is such a cycle. New boyfriend Kyle, I think,
mhm.
or the new person that
Yeah,
Ladybird
Timothy
is getting at.
Chalamet.
Yeah, Timothy. He is that kind of character who is against the mobile phone.
Yeah,
He's not
yeah.
into the latest tech,
He's he's a
and
burgeoning he's a burgeoning hipster. Yeah,
he's a burgeoning hipster and a rebel, and thinks of the
right, right,
system as economic capitalist
hmm
fucking bad system that he doesn't want to
right.
participate in.
Hmm.
And like I have seen such people of such age around me
Hmm.
in the US, but I feel like they are not on the radar of the older generation. They just think everybody who's a millennial young kid, they are into smartphone and video games and technology. What they don't realize is it's the same. Like there's still people who are like hippies of this sort. So the film showed that really well. The old boyfriend comes to the restaurant to like apologize and talk about
Mm.
get a closure.
That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Yeah, that scene was so well done.
Mm.
And she, even though she was so hurt by who and how he was, she's the only person he can like reach out to, and he does, and she
Because
hugs
yeah,
him like.
right. Yeah. So,
Yeah. So another thing I feel like the older people think that for the young people it's like sex is all, sexuality is like, oh, everybody can come out of the closet at any time.
mm,
That's not the case.
mm,
The current
mm,
millennial generation face a lot of stifling of many different kinds, and they are their own support system, and they are very emotionally mature. That Lady Bird was very emotionally mature in that scene. Like she confronted him and also expressed her anger, but was also the most supporting friend. That was very nicely done scene. And the way this film cuts from one scene to the other, like that right after that scene where he reaches out to her, there's the scene of like the priest is being asked, "What is your support system?"
Right. Yeah.
That,
Right.
that was so deep. That was so deep.
Right. Yeah. They're very different types of humor too. Interestingly, it's like
Yeah,
I mentioned, the screwball, comedy music, and yeah, I don't think it's as much of a problem as I may have put it, but it's just a different type. She grabs the binder and she puts it in the trash. There's verbal comedy with all the like back and forth between the mother and the daughter,
yeah,
and there's situational humor like with the coach that's suddenly the drama teacher.
yeah.
That's just a juxtaposition that you just that's
Yes,
so
right.
hilarious that he's trying to use football tactics in a theater setting. It's just like there's just many different types of humor that's all going
Yeah,
around, and it's like all mixes together so perfectly. It's just
yeah. And he's excited but not comfortable, and he's like clearly like in
right.
a new
He's
territory.
just right.
Yeah,
He's just falling back on what he knows, which is
what he knows.
just yeah, which is just drawing plays on a chalkboard. Yeah, it's good. It's great stuff.
What is she sacrificing to be with Kyle? Kyle is such a different personality.
Mm.
So, what did you feel about that?
The movie is all about this very specific time in your coming of age and your burgeoning adulthood, I should say, maybe not. That you're trying to figure out all these emotions that are like swirling around, whether those are real, whether those are just, whether that's romantic, love, lust, and sometimes those get, cross-wired and they get a little bit mixed up. Um, because Kyle, it just doesn't seem like they're connecting on any sort of level. He just sort of, he's just very dismissive. Like he's, as someone, as a proto hipster, circa 2003 or so, would he's sort of very detached. He doesn't like society, that sort of thing. That he's very above everything. But when you're that age, that's cool. That's oh, you're above everything, aren't you? It's
Yeah,
like, but
yeah.
you're above everything, but you're participating in everything, and yeah, there's just a lot of emotions that are being cross-wired. They're just getting mixed up, and that's a big part of adulthood is finding out what is what these things mean to you. Yeah.
Kind of related it to her mother, that her mother is just in an advanced stage of a girl's dreams getting crushed and her having to face reality.
Mm.
Like Ladybird's father is in depression, has always been for a long time. These things are now slowly being revealed to us. So that Ladybird's mother has had a very tough life,
Mm.
like raising
She
kids.
said the abusive alcoholic mother she
She had an
mentioned.
abusive
Yeah.
alcoholic mother.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. So starting from there to like having a husband and a family that is not super rich. And now Ladybird, just when she's coming of age, that journey has already started of deep dreams getting crushed.
Mm.
And the first boyfriend was a good example.
Mm.
He genuinely brought her joy,
Mm.
her first kiss and so on, but turned out to be gay. So that's facing with reality. And now the second boyfriend, she's changing herself for him.
Mm.
Like she's
Mhm.
she's suppressing herself for him.
Right.
He like writes off the clove cigarette, so
Right.
she has to now defend herself and like,
Defend
or
herself. Right.
and not just defend, she's also like,
Right.
she's letting it go. She's like, yeah, cloves are dumb.
And clothes are stupid. Right.
And to
Yeah. Mm.
fill her loneliness, like to be with a guy, she is
Changing hers. Yeah.
changing herself and like killing, slowly letting her joy be cut. one like slash at a time. So uh, then the whole gymnasium scene of pro-life lady talking about how abortion is morally wrong, and just as young rebellious women should be challenging such a indoctrination sort of like this is a very complicated subject of abortion, and the film, I'm very glad the film touched upon it. um, and like you could see that like young people would say whatever. She had a point that the society also like does not openly talk about women's menstruation all that much, and she came from a point of like everything that is ugly is not necessarily bad. I mean, if you put a close-up camera to my vagina during periods, it will look like a mess, but that doesn't make it morally wrong. But they have been so implying that they have been told that it's morally wrong at some point. Our girl Lady Bird is, I don't know if she is that kind that she wants to be center of attention, but it's just that she ends up being. She's just like a normal person living through life, and she ends up being like that. And
yeah, I think it's just through force of character, just the
yeah,
that especially with the gymnasium scene. Doesn't she? Of course, says she sort of says the comment under her breath, but then the instructor asks for clarification, and Lady Bird just decides to clarify in her own way that exactly how she feels. No, that's a good point. I don't think she like strives to be the center of attention, but it just seemed. But sometimes she's just thrust into it. Sometimes she just can't help it.
I was happy to see that the rich girl, the girl that Ladybird was swimming with, when she found out that she's not from that rich house of 2012, 24 or whatever, she was nice. Like you could see they had genuinely become friends. That came as a pleasant surprise. Like I was like, oh wow, nicely done. Like I was expecting that she would walk out on her. I wasn't expecting anything, but like subconsciously to see her not walk out on her and be very understanding was a very nice thing. I like the fact that that rich girl was not shown as a complete brat. She was shown very reasonable, very understanding, and they had connected by now.
Well, I actually thought, the way at least the scene is played, that the popular rich girl, just felt humiliated because she showed up to a door of somebody she didn't know, and somebody's grandma opened the door for her, and she went back and she took it out on Ladybird.
She took it as an adventure. She was like, "Oh, that lady totally freaked out."
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't read it as much. I thought she did come off very just very abrasive, and she just didn't seem to be understanding of why. What was the reason for the lie? And yeah, that's not good. You shouldn't, you could go around lying to people, especially about where you live. But it doesn't seem like she was very understanding of why that was, and she kind of just like disconnected.
That's the age, though. That's the age we all lie.
Right, yeah, obviously, yeah.
And favorite line of the film probably just came. Like there were many favorite lines, but one of the top ones was when she's mad and she goes from like, it's so interesting to see, she goes from like being fake happy to fake real mad. Like that happy, you're supposed to be happy when you're lost your virginity. So like society teaches us all. So she's like, oh, I'm so happy. We declared each other. Look at us now. And you could see that there was a wanting to be happy element in there, and wanting. Sex is awkward. That was shown very well. But then when she was really mad, that when she learned that it wasn't special for the guy, like it wasn't his first time losing virginity or something. And she's mad. And when for the first time, she confronted him. Until that point, every time he would say something about how mobile phones are evil or how clove cigarettes are bad, she would just say yes to his yes. That was the first time when he was like, "Oh, don't be mad at such stupid things. Like, this is nothing in the larger scheme of things.
Mm.
Do you know how many people have died in Iraq since the war?" And then she was like, "Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Not all sadness has to be about war." So that was great line.
It's a great line.
That exact line, like, yeah, I don't have to be sad about like the greatest fucking evil thing happening in the world right now. Just the fact that something bad has happened in my life is enough to make me sad. I That was a very good line, and I love that she finally like. I was happy when she was like, "Shut up, shut the fuck up!" Like you, I don't like Kyle at all.
You're not supposed to. Yeah,
favorite shot was mother and daughter crying in the car, and that is just how awesome parenting is. Like sometimes the best part about that scene was like throughout the film everything is so real, there are fights and everything, but that just melted my heart, man. Like she didn't I loved it that the mother didn't ask the details of what is wrong.
Didn't need to know.
She didn't need to know. Yeah. She just knew, because she's lived life. She knew that, yeah, you have a bad day, and it could be whatever the reason. She could imagine and understand like 20 possible reasons. She doesn't have to know what it was. What she knew is that she needs a hug, and she needs some time with me. And I don't think it was entirely true that she didn't have the second shift. She, in all likelihood, she made that up. She was like, "Hey, do you want to do our favorite activity? I don't have to go for the second shift."
Little subtle cut there, because it's right after she gets all the acceptance or non-acceptance letters from the college she wants, and so she gets in at least one of the colleges, one of her, I think, if I remember, one of her safe colleges, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's not so optimistic that he landed the position. So there's a nice little intercut between the two. There's two different lives, just where they're going in their careers. It's good.
Yeah. And I was feeling very bad in this interview scene, like, because we are the ones taking away the jobs of the older generation. Not directly, like, I mean, but I still felt bad. Like, like I know the technology industry from the inside, and it is true. Like, even a guy like me, 33 years old, I feel old every other year. Because the young kids who are 23 now, 24 now, they know shit, and they're so quick to learn new things.
Well, yeah. I mean, every generation is going to maybe, I started growing up with computers in like 1995, so when I was about 6 years old, but there are people that have lived their entire lives and not known dial-up, that have known high-speed internet. So that's just going to progress, all the way.
And like technology changes every year. It's not the same industrial era of jobs that you get skilled as a lawyer and then you work as a lawyer all your life.
Well, you need to have an entry point. It's just an entirely different industry than what has come before it.
And a 60-year-old man, 50-year-old man literally is not employable.
No.
It's not the industry's fault, but it's not their fault either. It's just the landscape has changed, man. So I was feeling really bad because this was like very relatable.
Yeah, technology has just created just an exponential growth, and all our lives. But also the other side of that is that it's created such a barrier for people to try and cope with, or to try and get.
Which is why I was like all for Andrew Yang.
I see that. Yeah, he understood automation and the dangers of automation and all that.
And like I just feel like the time has come in the world to like just give everybody money.
Universal basic income?
Universal basic income. I think that's the right thing to do. It's like at least people won't feel like they're worthless because they don't have the dollars. And then let it be a trickle-up economy. Like people will still work, people will
I
want
like
to do
that
their
trickle up
theater.
economy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like reverse Reaganism.
So, and it's relevant now because we are watching this film during the time of like social distancing and so many people not being able to work, especially in the gig industry.
Yeah, me? I'm not able. I'm not able to wear.
Including yourself. Yeah, like imagine all the event organizers and the hotel people and the theater industry, like, so they could and like he's not able to get a job, and like with this virus now, we know
Imagine,
that this.
just imagine just having, just trying to look for a job right now.
Yeah.
Just be impossible.
So let's give everybody.
Let's get everybody his money. Let's give everybody. Yeah. I'm all for it.
I'm willing to see whatever kind of tax increase. Personally, like I think I'll be happy, like because I personally cannot donate. I'll be happy to give away 1/3 or half of my paycheck so that, like,
healthcare, or your health.
so that everybody lives well. But then it won't help if there's just one person do it.
Right.
Yeah. A special mention. I feel like doing a shout out to two eyes, two quick looks that were. No dialogue could replace them. One, both in the same scene, where the pink dress shopping is being done by the mother and daughter, and in one scene where the daughter says, "Oh, I like this one," and the mother says, "Isn't it too pink?" And you see the look she gives in the mirror, the daughter to the mother. That look of like, there's no words to describe that look, but that look was genius. Only a genius actor. They could be real life mother and daughters. They both acted so well. And then subsequently in that same scene, when the daughter says, "Oh, but do you like me?" and the mother says, "I want you to be the best version of yourself." And the daughter is like, "What if this is the best version?" And the mother is like, please don't say this is the best. So both those looks were awesome. They were awesome. Mother-daughter pair is there? Like anyone that comes to mind? Any mother-daughter pair? Because we don't have too many lady directors. We have male gazing.
Yeah, there's a little. There's a lot of father-son. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of father-son movies.
So many father-son
movies. But you're right. Yeah, there are, and usually, even if there is a mother-daughter relationship, usually it's pushed to the side for either the father or son, or between the brothers, or between brother sister. But yeah, mother-daughter is usually brushed aside. It's usually not really the focus of a movie. That is you're right. That's an example.
I can't remember. I forget alone the good mother-daughter.
Good money, right?
I can't even remember any. So I'll take that as a homework.
I'd have to think. Yeah, you'd have to go. I think you'd have to go pretty far back because.
Kyle was just so asshole. Like the thing that I was saying, young people need to be nice to each other. Like, come on, man. A girl is all excited, dressed for prom, sits in your car. You can at least say, "Hey, you look nice."
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you're not genuine.
But he doesn't care. Like he just, And that's part of growing up, is finding out that the people that you thought were cool or everything are just jerks, or just they're in for themselves. They're not. They don't see you. They just they just would rather look into a mirror the whole day than anything else.
Just a thought experiment, but on the other hand, Kyle was living his truth too. Like if you see the movie from Kyle's perspective, like I can change the treatment of the film and make Lady Bird seem like the girl who's trying to like be a fake person. That like she wants to like prom because the world and media tells her that you should like prom, and like it's Kyle's honesty too that he doesn't like it.
Right.
It's Kyle's honesty too that he's not into like cheesy music. Even though I am like, I wish I could like live high school in the US and like go to prom and all of that. Where was this entire film shot? Is Sacramento a
on
real town?
location. I think it was on location. Yeah.
Very nice. I just saw the budget of the movie. It was made for $10 million total.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no like special effects or anything. So all of that money went to the actors and the
Actors and
locations.
locations.
So
Yeah.
there was a very big team of set designers, and what they were designing essentially was every location.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you have to dress up right here on screen. You have to dress
On
up her
screen.
bedroom and yeah,
you have to make her bedroom look like it was
a teenage girl, circa 2003.
Yeah. So like that's a lot of work, and like so the entire crew got all the money. $10 million is
Yeah, it's
good money for this film, and then it earned a total worldwide gross of $80 million
yeah, not bad.
so far. And this is only box office.
Right.
So I just bought this movie on fucking YouTube for like $10. So, like, that's not in
Bought
that.
on YouTube.
Yeah, that's not in that 80 million. So that's above
Right.
and beyond. So I think it made a tenfold profit, man, and deservingly so. Well made movie.
Well, it's just what happens when you have a good story or you have an honest story. It's obviously Greta Gerwig is drawing from her own experience. You know, it's not totally autobiographical, but I'm sure she's drawing on a lot of her upbringing in Sacramento and wanting to go to an East Coast school to study drama. So yeah, when you have an honest, true story, it will resonate with people.
Yeah, I am so glad we picked this movie.
I'm glad too. Yeah, this is great. This is a great movie. Yeah.
And it's like every single scene of the movie is something you can sit back and contemplate on. And like it's the most beautiful slice of life, and it's from the angle of joy. So at no point is it evoking tragedy or sadness or anything, just pure joy and innocence. Some choices that the filmmakers made in editing of the movie, I absolutely loved it. For example, two that come to my mind right now. One is the fact that the mother was writing all those letters with crumpled pieces of paper. That scene was shown twice, intercut with scenes of Ladybird. But the Ladybird scene spanned multiple days. Like she was painting her room and then doing something else, taking her driving lesson. And while all of that happened, the mother was shown in that same place, almost seeming like just one night. That was a cool choice of editing. I liked that. Maybe it was multiple nights, but like it seemed like the same night. So I liked that. I don't know why I like that. The other one, when she flies off from Sacramento, never showing the plane, but just the view of takeoff, not even the window. Just that view of like a camera like going fast on the runway sort of and then like lifting up. I loved it. I haven't seen other movies do it like this. Like you always see either the plane or the window or the tires or something. I love that no flying object was shown at all. It was just like such a takeoff. It like lifted my spirits well. And then
she's literally a ladybird.
yeah. And then it cut into New York and it did not show like that grand tourist postcard view of New York.
Right.
With 20 tall buildings, the Manhattan skyline. Usually that is what is the opening shot of
a Sinatra song going in the background.
Yeah. It just showed a street with this yellow light and the rust and some tree, and there was this Chrysler Tower or one of those famous towers in the background, non-glamorously present. So I love that cut, that choice of not showing the glamour of New York and just showing like New York for how it feels like when you actually go there as a student and get out of those subways. I really like that.
Do you see any of that sort of, or is it different in India? Would it be, or how you grew up or how you saw things? Like, is the...
Good question. Yeah, I think it is different. The emotional journey is the same, but the pace is different. Even the most slowest sleepy town in India is a lot more buzzing than Sacramento. Because it's such a densely populated country, such a high population. So there's always one of my complaints of America when I was new here was
Too much space.
too much space, and like I was like, where are all the people? Even Boston.
Where are all the people?
Imagine what would have happened to me if I was dropped in Sacramento. Like
Hmm.
Boston seemed like dead
Hmm.
at first. Like I was like, oh my god, I can hear the tick tock of the clock in my living room. But during peak hours of the day, like why is everything so quiet? Where are all the people? So like everything is spread out here, and especially towns like Sacramento are like you can't go to your barber without a car.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And there's nobody out. There's not a large population driving out on scooters, or you don't see actual humans. You see cars, if even on the street. So that changes the nature of life of a place.
Hmm.
Like if you see a lot of people on the street, that adds a different dimension. Like you don't feel lonely or you don't feel slow. And if there are too many people, like so that's different in small towns in India. The journey is the same, like where a young person is, um, girl is trying to find her space from her mom. She's slightly disconnected from the reality, but also connected from the reality of her family, of like less resources. But she's like, but that shouldn't like cut the wings of a young teenage girl. So those elements are there. Um, two questions. I'll ask the first one first.
Yeah.
Why do you think she went to the church that day after being drunk, waking up at the hospital? Why did she go to the church?
Well, and in a way, it's her way of returning a little piece of home, because even though she kind of spurned her Catholic school like upbringing and everything, it's the one
Yeah.
thing in New York she knows is universal.
Yeah.
Religion, or specifically in this case, the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
And even though she isn't really devout or any sort of thing, it's that thing. It's something that brings her back to Sacramento. It's something that
Yeah.
brings her back to her dad and mom and Miguel and her foster sister.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
such a nice thing about religion. Like people always say, like I feel like we are too harsh on religion, especially in movies,
Mhm.
and I'm glad to see it being approached like for what it is, a little bit. That
Yeah,
it's
it
kind of
gives it gives you
yeah,
both. It gives you both angles. There's the there's the pro-life
yeah,
indoctrination thing, but it's at the same time,
yeah.
it's gives
It's a
people something to fall back on.
it's a foundation. It's
Yeah,
something to
it's a
fall back on.
foundation. Exactly.
Everybody
It's a
knows
very
there's a lot of shit in it, and there's like
there's a
everybody
lot of
knows that. Yeah,
contradictions and
yeah,
but yeah, no, at the core, it is giving people community support.
yeah.
Just
Casting directors should get credit.
yes,
There are
absolutely,
there,
absolutely.
there are
Here,
three
there, yeah,
yeah
here, absolutely.
three casting directors.
Hmm.
By name, two of them seem female and one male.
Hmm.
Allison, Heidi, and Jordan.
Hmm.
Heidi is known for Saving Face from 2004. Allison is like been there for a while. She's best known for Deep Impact from 1998, and
Hmm.
Jordan Thaler known for he's been around even longer.
Hmm.
He's known most famously for his work for the movie Big in 1988.
Hmm.
I was 2 years old then, and he was a
Nice.
casting director.
He was a cast, yeah, yeah.
So
Casting directors do a lot of heavy lifting. They have to.
yeah, like if you have the right cast, which this film did,
Hmm.
the the drama coach, the priest coach, theater, every nun, there were multiple nuns,
Hmm.
the mother, the brother's wife, father, because I don't remember seeing the father anywhere else in any other film.
Right. Again, he was a playwright for a long time. He's only recently gotten into acting, and now this is like one of his first big roles that he got on screen. Yeah, and he's great. He's great in every single role he's done so far.
Wow. So like uh, all of every single person that we see on the screen was perfect for their role.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It just
That
seemed
is, and
like
that
that was
is
their true life.
all the way, from Sheersha all the way to the extras. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think, is there an award for casting directors?
No, there isn't. It's very it's very odd. There's
There's an
no
award for
award.
every other department. There's
Every
an
other
award.
department except for casting, no stunts, no. Oh no, there's stunts
Like
and
I'm pretty sure I've seen awards for stunts somewhere in some technical
Hmm.
award show.
oh yeah, I thought you were talking about just the big one. Yeah, the Academy Award. Yeah, but yeah, you're
But
right. There's no like award ceremony for casting directors. You're right.
yeah, I don't know how you would even like objectively or subjectively measure their work, but this film got their casting.
So yeah, so would have cleaned up at that.
So 2017, I'm trying to see if just to see where this sits in the box office. I'm trying to see
I don't think it made too much of a dent in the total box office. But
box office mojo. Is there a way to see like top films by
should
their
be a
box
way to
office
top indies or something. Yeah, top like.
yearly?
There's a way to do that on Box Office Mojo.
So just see if you can guess which film played the most theater screens in 2017 by count of theater screens.
17. Well, I'm trying to remember what the Marvel movie was.
Despicable Me.
Hmm?
Despicable Me played the most. Oh wow. Okay. So some interesting numbers just so you get like perspective of the business of the film.
Mm-hmm.
The top 20 films of 2017 played in over 4,000 screens each. Like Thor, Wonder Woman, Beauty and the Beast. Each one of them played in over 4,000 theater screens. They released across that many screens.
Right. Yep.
And
All the Disneys played over.
all the Disneys.
And all the Disney. Yep.
And this one, Lady Bird, released across
I think-
1,500.
Oh, I thought I would have guessed half, but yeah, not even half. Geez.
Not even half.
Not even half.
And even then, so
yeah, per theater, then it must be pretty good then.
like the studio film, the Emoji Movie, was released in 3 times as many screens. The Emoji Movie was like 4,500 screens and made less than this movie, even with 3 times as many screens. So that's pretty awesome. I like that. I think we went into quite a depth, man.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Like, I've never delved, whatever is the word. I've never seen so many aspects of a film ever. So even if you, even if you don't,
what happens when you pay attention? Yeah.
If you don't start a YouTube channel or whatever, let's still do this with other films. This is very.
Oh, we're definitely doing it. Oh, definitely, absolutely. This is great. Oh, this is definitely going to keep this up.
All of that was brilliant, and the brilliant work of camera was brilliant, man. Brilliant. Brilliant. That was brilliant. It's always brilliant. It was brilliant.